It's me, Marc Loyd. The Marc Loyd is actually talking to the rock.
Marc Loyd.
Has his man wide open. That's Bailey at the 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Mario Bailey.
Marc Loyd.
What do we want as a sports fan? Huh? What do we want?
Marc Loyd.
Boy, for all you Gator fans out there, what kind of year is Florida going to have? So I'm not a huge fan of vegetables. Okay, so how can I eat some? Just blend them up.
Sit back, relax, and let this guy do all the thinking for you. Marc Loyd.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Marc Loyd Show here on Freedom 93 FM, the home of the Gators and the Jags this upcoming football season. We come at you each and every Saturday at 2 o'clock here on Freedom 93 FM. A busy show for you. As always, a lot of stuff to get to. Great interview. I teased it last week about the whole sports card collecting industry and these two really remarkable drafts this past year in the NBA and also in the NFL with some big personalities and a lot of talent. And so many of you out there, collect cards and do all kinds of stuff in that industry. Maybe you have kids getting into it. I thought it was going to be a really interesting topic. So we have an interview like that coming up. Plus, I promise you we touch on the NFL, and yes, we will. We will get to the NFL and all that good stuff coming up in just a little bit as well. Remember, you could tweet us at Marc Loyd Show. A lot of you did last week, so we appreciate that. Also, now you can go to marcloydshow.com, another way to get in touch with us when it comes to the daily topics or the topics that we have going on today. Seminole Bill, our executive producer, is in the house. Also, Eric, our producer, is in the house as well. Now, we all know the World Cup is coming to an end, right? It's pretty much over with. But, when I'm watching the World Cup in soccer, and it's probably the last time we'll have a chance to talk about soccer where it's relevant in this country for a long, long time. But I don't want to talk about the play on the field. I don't want to talk about who's winning and who's the best and the U.S. getting eliminated and all that stuff. You know what I found really, really interesting is that when England was still playing in the World Cup before they got eliminated, they were going over their roster, okay? They were going over the roster. They said, hey, England has 5 guys that on the roster that's starting that play for Liverpool. They have another 2 or 3 that play for Manchester United, some big teams over in the European League. And I thought to myself, I go, you know what? That's really interesting. And we are such diehard sports fans that I said to myself, could I root even for our country if, say, I hate Manchester United. I'm a big Liverpool fan. Could I cheer for a Man U guy even though they're playing for England? Do I want them to do good? Do I want them to get injured? Put yourself in their shoes. And so I'm talking to some friends about this, and I thought, well, how does that relate to us? Because, our World Cup team, I don't know anybody that's a diehard, MLS fan or something that really loves a team. So we were thinking, and we came to the conclusion that in a way it's kind of like the Olympics, right? It's like the Olympics for us when we put together the dream team in the NBA. And this is what I'm curious about, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this. Hit us up at Marc Loyd Show. Tweet us. Give me your thoughts on this, because if you remember the original dream team, right? You had obviously a bunch of great players, but the 3 players that jump out is Magic Johnson, right? Larry Bird and Michael Jordan. So you had the Bulls, the Lakers, and the Celtics all being represented on this team. And if you're a diehard Laker fan, were you really rooting for Larry Bird, even though they were representing the country? Now, I'm as patriotic as anybody, but this is sports, okay? It's not life or death. So were you hoping maybe that Larry Bird didn't play or Larry Bird got injured if you were a LA Laker fan? Or if you thought the Lakers were going to meet the Bulls in the championship, or the Celtics were going to meet the Bulls because of Michael Jordan on the Dream Team too in the Eastern Conference Finals? Were you hoping maybe that maybe something not very good would happen to one of those players, could you actually root for them? Did you root for the U.S.? Can you put aside, I guess, really, your passion for your own team that you root for on a yearly basis? Let's be honest, on a daily basis, that you live and die for, that if you lose, that you're almost throwing up. Are you able to do that? And I guess for me, I'm not a diehard fan of any professional teams. I just love all professional sports. Now, I do have a strong passion when it comes to college football. And I was talking to a friend of mine that is a huge Florida State fan. And I guess if you put together a college football dream team to go, in a way, like they used to a long time ago when it was only amateurs, if there was a college football Olympics, you know what I mean? That was one of the categories. And you're a diehard Seminole fan, and Tim Tebow, let's say, was the quarterback at Florida at the time, and he was the quarterback now for your Olympic make-believe team here. Do you root for him? Could you? Could you actually root for, because you have such strong passion? Because there's a difference, though. When it comes to that, they could come back and play against you the following year. Seminole Bill. Now, Seminole Bill over there, he's a big Noel fan. Okay, obviously, he goes by the name Seminole Bill. Mike, okay, so you hear what I'm talking about. You being a big Noel fan, if there was our make-believe category of a college football in the Olympics, you know what I mean? And Tim Tebow is your quarterback. Now, you can't stand the Gators, right? But you want to root for the U.S., but how do you do that? I don't think I can. Could you? Here we go. Number 3. There we go. Okay.
If we win, of course you root for him. If you win, you don't have to give him the cold shoulder like the Brazilian fans are doing right now.
Well, that's okay. So what you're saying is that if Tim Tebow was the quarterback of your Olympic team, and yet you're a diehard Noel fan, you could still root for him and put aside the hatred for the Gators that maybe you have.
For the greater good of the country, we'd have to.
For the greater good of the country, you could. That's interesting. All right. Well, I don't know if I can. Hit us up on Twitter at Marc Loyd Show if you could do that. But you see where I'm coming from. When it comes to our version of the Olympics, I'm watching the World Cup and I'm going, man, I don't know if I'm a Man U fan. Could I be rooting for England? Because I cannot stand Liverpool. They just, they beat us just a little while ago. And I'm wondering for the players or for the audience out there that has diehard fans of, I gave the example of the Dream Team in the NBA, but you could do it anything. Maybe we had a make-believe Olympic football team, and if you love, Tom Brady, in the New England Patriots, and you had Geno Smith in the New York Jets, and you're a diehard Jets fan, could you root for the other team? That's pretty interesting, isn't it?
It's hard.
Yeah.
Think of hockey and how we do it there when we have the competition.
You know what? You're absolutely right. Hockey falls into the same category when it comes to all that. Hit us up at Marc Loyd Show on Twitter. We'd love to get your thoughts on that. And so many other things that we're going to be talking about on today's show. But I thought that was so interesting that it was just a completely different twist on what the whole World Cup was about, at least for me when I was watching it and they were going over the rosters and everything. And I go, wow, that's really interesting. Could I set my differences aside? Now, one friend that I was talking to, he said, no way. That's not happening. I love the country, but I just couldn't do it. I dislike that team so much. And you know what? I think if you're a diehard fan, I just don't know how you could. I think you got to say, Seminole Bill's a bigger man than me. I can tell you that right now. He said he would, but I wouldn't. All right, stay with us here. Coming up, we're going to speak with Kendall Lloyd, who is the CEO of Orlando Sports Cards. Coming up after the break right here on Freedom 93 FM. This is the Marc Loyd Show. Stay with us.
You're the person your company, family, and friends turn to when something needs to get planned. A meeting, an out-of-town conference, sporting event, reunion, church function, or a sorority or fraternity event. What a headache. Well, there's a little secret that's going to make your life a lot easier and make you look like a hero. Bassett Events is a professional events, conference, and meeting planning service right here in Tallahassee. And they provide site selection and contract negotiation services to you at no cost. Yep, no cost. As long as your event requires at least 10 hotel rooms for one or more nights. You see, Bassett Events gets paid by the hotel, resort, or vendor, and they'll negotiate the best possible rates for you. Bassett Events saves you time, money, and aggravation, but still keeps you in control of the decision-making process. It's one-stop shopping, and you'll be a hero because it'll be our little secret. Bassett Events, exceeding expectations one event at a time. Call 877-7-EVENT-1, 877-7-EVENT-1, online at BassettEvents.com.
Welcome back to the Marc Loyd Show here on Freedom 93 FM, home of the Gators and the Jaguars all season long. Now, last week, I teased everybody that we're going to get a sports card expert on our show, and for numerous reasons. Also, I said you could send in some questions, which you guys came through with flying colors. Send a whole bunch of questions in to @MarcLloyd Show via Twitter, #SportsCards. So who did I get? I got the CEO of Orlando Sports Cards. It's on the phone with us right now. Orlando Sports Cards has been featured in Beckett Publications, Sports Collectors Digest, and even more important, the person I have on is a proud FSU alumni. Welcome, everybody, to the show, Kendall Lloyd. Kendall, how you doing?
Very good, Mark. Very good. Thanks for having me on today. And I love that introduction there, the CEO.
Yes, I thought you would. I know you love that. But even more important, a proud FSU alumni. Okay, now, Kendall, the reason that we wanted you on was because I was thinking, boy, this was such an interesting draft for football and basketball. It has a lot of great personalities and also a lot of great talent in it. A lot of our listeners, they collect sports cards, or they still have sports cards from their childhood. As I mentioned, we got a lot of questions that we're going to try to get to, but let's not waste any time, Kendall. Let's get right into it. The NFL draft this past year. Big personality, big talent, but also even a bigger personality, Johnny Manziel, Johnny Football, former Heisman Trophy winner out of Texas A&M. What I want to know is, and everybody else out there, what kind of effect has Johnny had on the sports card collecting industry? Because we know he's already had a huge effect when it comes to just the media. I mean, the guy's taken late, not number one pick or anything like that, but everybody's just constantly wanting to know what is he doing. So what kind of effect has he had on the sports card industry?
Well, he's very intriguing. And so far what I can see is a lot of people do not have a great, his ability to play and all that is still kind of up for grabs. However, he's so intriguing that there's a lot of upside to it. A lot of people try to compare him to the Tim Tebow, and that's kind of the people, I don't want to say the haters, but the guys that don't like that flamboyant type style that he carries with him. But on the other side, there is a lot of interest in his cards.
So are they going? Are they? Let's compare him to the number one draft pick, Jadeveon Clowney, right? What is the difference in price because of Manziel and his personality? Is his cards right now worth more than Clowney? The way Tim Tebow was worth more than so many other guys.
Oh, absolutely. His cards are far and above higher than anybody's in the draft.
Like what, 4 times, 2 times, 3 times more?
I would say a $100 card of his would be a $20 card of Mr. Clowney there.
Wow. Okay. All right. Now, so that's Manziel. Let's go rapid fire real quick on some other NFL players. Jadeveon Clowney, is his cards moving well? I know he was injured, as we all know, but they said he's going to be back full speed for the upcoming season. How's his cards been selling?
They've been doing pretty good. Pretty much comparable to Blake Bortles, who's doing very well. Bishop Sankey has done very well. Even guys that didn't get drafted high, like A.J. McCarron, Taj Boyd, James Wilder. There's a lot of guys.
James Wilder Jr.?
Yeah.
Out of Florida State?
Yeah. Undrafted free agent, but there's always interest in the local guys, a lot of the Florida State guys.
Well, hang on. We'll get to that. I got another guy, though. Before we will, Florida State fans out there, I know you want to know about some of the players that got drafted this past year. We'll ask Kendall all about that. Who we have on the line right now is Kendall Lloyd, owner of Orlando Sports Cards, our sports card collecting expert. Michael Sam, okay, very intriguing figure. Excellent in college football. First openly gay athlete. at least for the NFL, that has come out and said that he's gay. What effect has he had? He got drafted late in the NFL draft by the St. Louis Rams. Is there strong interest in his cards?
He sells. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's amazing. Again, I don't not sure what the intriguing part about it is, or who is buying his cards. But he sells.
Price-wise, is he with Jadeveon Clowney, or is he with Johnny Manziel, or is he somewhere in between?
No, he's definitely on the lower scale, but he would not be considered a common. He would still be above a common price type of card.
Okay, so here's a quick question, though. For everybody out there that collects, and there's millions of people out there, it's a billion-dollar industry. Real quick, is it always based on performance, or it sounds like it's more based on personalities where the cards are worth the most money, right? And that's what it sounds like.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody knows Tim Tebow, right? His cards sell for a guy who hasn't really played, or when he did play, didn't do very well, and he's still not even currently playing, yet his cards still sell. I mean, so how you do off the field sometimes, it does, it matters.
Okay, Florida State quick hits. LaMarcus Joyner. We all love LaMarcus Joyner, outstanding player, got drafted by the Rams. Is there interest in LaMarcus?
Well, we do pretty well with the current Florida State players that just got drafted. Their values don't carry a lot of weight. Most of them right now are on the defensive side of the ball, and the defensive players always struggle compared to offensive players when it comes to price value. Okay,
so then next is Telvin Smith. I had on my list here to ask you about. So kind of the same area of LaMarcus Joyner and also Timmy Jernigan?
Absolutely, yeah. Defensive players, they just don't get that favorable price value.
They just don't get the hype also as the offensive players. But it matters a lot, too, the market they go to as well. Like Joyner's in St. Louis, so, I don't know. Jernigan goes to the Ravens, which more people know because obviously they just won the Super Bowl, and then you got that, a flamboyant head coach. So maybe Jernigan might someday, because of the market he's in, be worth more than LaMarcus Joyner if they both have an outstanding career.
Oh, yeah, the exposure on TV is huge. If you're playing Monday Night Football and Sunday Night Football, then you're going to get recognized more. Rams is not a team that really gets televised a lot. Same San Diego Chargers or certain teams, but Packers, Steelers, Cowboys, yeah, you're going to get noticed a lot more.
All right, time to look into the crystal ball. Everybody's favorite player around here in Tallahassee, the Heisman Trophy winner, led Florida State to the national championship, famous Jameis, will be eligible for the draft next year, even though his dad said he's going to stay a couple more years. I know as a proud FSU alumni, you're keeping your fingers crossed. Look into your crystal ball. If Jameis does come out, and he is the number one draft pick, has another great year, because he has a personality too, but boy, he has the talent to back it up as well. So can you relate him to anybody in the past? Because I'm struggling with that a little bit because he has a bigger personality than Andrew Luck. You know what I mean? Andrew Luck, to me, falls into like a Peyton Manning area. Where does Jameis fall, and are you hearing in the sports card collecting industry that when this guy does come out, what his cards are going to be worth?
Well, definitely, if he comes out, he's going to be a top 10. Will he be number one? It depends who gets the number one pick, if it's a team that already has a quarterback and so on. But he will definitely.
Well, let's be honest. Most likely, if you have the number one pick, you don't have a quarterback. So.
Yeah, that's correct. But I'm hoping I don't have to make that decision next year because we're trying to get 2 more years out of the guy. But anyway, if he does come out, who do you compare him to? That's tough because he has, like you said, that. He's just got that flamboyancy that's really exciting, and don't have to be a Florida State fan to like this guy and everything. So, card-wise, I will probably have to, I don't want to say double my orders, but I will, whatever I'm ordering this year, I will be ordering at least 1.5 times next year on products that possibly will have him in it. So it's going to be huge. If he does come out, it's going to help my business. That's for sure.
For Jameis, price-wise, real quick, is it $100? So this picture, and you get to see it all the time, I'm sure at your location, is that when somebody's opening up a pack, if you open up a pack of football cards and you get a Jameis Winston, you're talking you have, what, a $10, $50, $100 card? I know it depends on the brand, but for the most part, it's going to be a high-dollar card, right?
Oh, yeah. I would say his base rookies, just common ones, will be $10 to $25, but his autographs, they're going to be up there. I don't think there'll be anything really under $100, and it can go as high as you want, several thousand.
Well, there you go, Florida State fans. Okay, real quick, let's get to some questions. I wanted to get to some NBA players. I just don't think we're going to have time. Bill, do we have time? Bill and Eric, our producers over there, we have time to I can take a few questions. All right, excellent. All right, for those of you that send in your questions via Twitter to @MarcLoydShow, #SportsCards, thank you very much. We're going to get to as many as possible. Here we go. You ready?
I'm ready to fire.
First one is from @JGarnerFiles. He says that he's a this is interesting. I'm a Cleveland Cavaliers fan with a lot of LeBron James. I noticed that he went down when he went to the Heat, but if he comes back, will they go back up? So he's talking value of LeBron James, obviously.
Yeah, when LeBron left Cleveland and went to the Heat, a lot of people currently were just looking for Heat cards now. They didn't care about the Cavs other than the rookies. That would be it. So now him possibly going back there brings a lot of value back into those Cleveland Cavalier cards. So for sure, if you're a Cleveland Cavs fan, hold on to those cards.
All right, well, we all know he's not going back there, though. So there we go. Sorry about that, Jay Garner Files. All right, next one is @Serpentine Shell. He says, my boy and I are into baseball. What do you recommend for him to start collecting? Probably, I guess he's probably asking about a brand. It sounds like he's boys getting into collecting cards and baseball cards, and baseball's his favorite sport. What do you recommend them to start off with collecting when he's trying to get his feel for the whole thing?
Well, there's so many choices to choose from, but the best and simplest right now, I'd stay with Topps. The base top set, very good, has all the rookies, all the base cards. That's your best choice for the fairest price.
Okay, and Topps is a brand for all you guys out there that might not know that, but I'm sure @Serpentine Shell. Thanks for the question there. All right, we got one more. Time for one more. All right, here we go. This is from @ArnoldPI. I want to get into soccer cards. Sounds like he's caught up in the World Cup like all of us. Is it worth it, and what kind should I get? Once again, I think he's probably talking about a brand, and is soccer cards? You know what? That's a great question. I'm glad has soccer really got caught up in the sports card industry also? And then let's answer his question: is it worth it? Should Arnold P.I. and also what kind should he get?
Man, I am shocked this year. Not really a huge soccer fan, and the city, even the United States, not really huge. It's extremely popular now with not only my guys from around here, but else. Prism Soccer is the newest box that came out this year, and it's a really cool design. They did a great job, and it is selling incredible. Probably done over 100 boxes of soccer. And before that, I probably didn't know 100 boxes of soccer sales in 10 years,
In 10 years, and you've been in business for over 20 years. You mentioned Prism for Arnold P.I. Who is Prism the brand, or does somebody make Prism? You mentioned that as a card.
Yeah, Panini Prism. That would be the brand.
Are the cards actually worth something? Is it worth it for him to get into it? Do you think it might hold its value? Give us your expert opinion.
Absolutely. 2 weeks ago, we had a Messi card pulled that was a 101 black refractor, sold for $2,500. So there's value.
Really? That was just. I wish we had more time because there's a few more some very intriguing questions. So the soccer cards are worth it. All right, hey folks, thanks for sending in the questions. You have a Twitter account?
Absolutely. @ORL Sports Cards.
Okay, well, there you go, folks. I can't answer them, but Kendall Loyd from Orlando Sports Cards, the CEO, is online with us, and you could always tweet him if you have any more questions. But Kendall, thank you very much for joining us here.
Oh, it's great, Mark. Thanks for having me on. I look forward to coming back again sometime.
Well, maybe we'll do it again, but hey, real quick before I let you go, proud FSU alumni, give us a Florida State prediction for all the Noel fans up here.
I know it's going to be hard to believe, but it's going to be 15-0. National champions.
Back-to-back, Kendall says. Once again, let's thank Kendall Loyd for joining us here. He's the CEO of Orlando Sports Cards. Boy, that was a lot of fun joining us here on Freedom 93 FM.
You're the person your company, family, and friends turn to when something needs to get planned. A meeting, an out-of-town conference, sporting event, reunion, church function, or a sorority or fraternity event. What a headache. Well, there's a little secret that's going to make your life a lot easier and make you look like a hero. Bassett Events is a professional events conference and meeting planning service right here in Tallahassee. And they provide site selection and contract negotiation services to you at no cost. Yep, no cost. As long as your event requires at least 10 hotel rooms for one or more nights. You see, Bassett Events gets paid by the hotel, resort, or vendor, and they'll negotiate the best possible rates for you. Bassett Events saves you time, money, and aggravation, but still keeps you in control of the decision-making process. It's one-stop shopping, and you'll be a hero because it'll be our little secret. Bassett Events, exceeding expectations one event at a time. Call 877-7-EVENT-1, 877-7-EVENT-1, online at BassettEvents.com.
This is Bill Bassett and Eric Sweeney with Bassett Promotions, producers of The Marc Loyd Show. Want to put your brand with a proven winner? Outstanding advertising and sponsor opportunities are currently available for The Marc Loyd Show. Give us a call at 877-738-3681, and we'll discuss ways to get your company on the airwaves, right here, where Tallahassee comes to talk, on the all-new Freedom 93 FM.
Welcome back to the Marc Loyd Show here on Freedom 93 FM. A little ZZ Top coming at you. We are the home of the Florida Gators and the Jacksonville Jaguars this upcoming football season. We come at you each and every week here on Saturday at 2 o'clock. You can get in touch with us. Tweet us at Marc Loyd Show, or you could also go to the Marc Loyd Show. Is it the? Or it's just marcloydshow.com. Okay, I saw a bunch of heads going, no, don't say that. Say the correct thing. It's marcloydshow.com. You should know. Why? Because you're Marc Loyd. Exactly. Hey, once again, let's thank Kendall Lloyd. That was really interesting, guys. Eric or Bill, you guys collected cards when you guys were kids, right? And don't you often wonder, are they worth anything? And just what that whole industry, it's $1 billion industry.
What'd mom throw in the garbage?
That is always the truth. How many stories? Oh. I had a Babe Ruth. Well, where is it? We used it for firewood. It was really cold one night. We burned the whole collection.
Yeah, the Ty Cobb, Willie Mays, they're all gone, man. Mom cleaned them out.
Yeah, now you can buy a house with them. But you know what, though? This leads me to the next topic here. And when we were talking with Kendall, and one of the guys that we talked about is Johnny Manziel and the big personality that he has and the talent. And as a sports fan, I want everybody to think of the teams that you cheer for, no matter what sport it is, hockey, basketball, football, it doesn't matter. Okay, team sport, though. Let's stick with a team sport, okay? My question is, what kind of package do you want your star player to be wrapped in? What kind of, let's take Johnny Manziel, for example. Okay. Cleveland Brown fans are absolutely thrilled that Johnny Manziel's on their team. And here's why I think they are, is that one, he won the Heisman. He's a tremendous talent. There's some question marks out there about his height and how, is he going to be able to, make it in the NFL? But still, everybody's excited because he has great talent, but he has a big personality.
Huge personality. And as a sports fan, what kind of things do you want your star player to have? Do you want them to, and we could go down and you want them to have, as Seminole Bill just did the money sign that Manziel does. That's great. Do you want your guy just to be straight-laced, no personality, Andrew Luck? Let's say, okay, good example. Andrew Luck, the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. All right, supreme talent, 100% focused on his job, which is the quarterback for the Colts, driven to win a Super Bowl. I don't think there's any doubt about that. The personality, though, of a stick. I mean, he's just not a very colorful individual. That's fine. I mean, it takes all kinds. So, that's okay. Just win, baby.
And that's what that's Bill, you tell me what you're thinking, because I got my thoughts. I'll tell you, do you want a quarterback like an Andrew Luck, okay, like we just went over, but let's not use Manziel right now, right this second. Let's find another quarterback. Peyton Manning.
There you go.
Is an interesting quarterback in the NFL. Supreme talent, check, right?
Awesome.
Funny guy, because the big personality,
outside of football. Then when it comes to football, says the right things all the time. To me, Peyton Manning is like the perfectly wrapped package that you want. Big personality, but not doing stupid things, right?
Right.
Supremely talented, wins you a Super Bowl. Love that. I'm struggling to find anybody else that is the complete package like Peyton Manning. I mean, if you let's go in any sport out there, and let's try to stay nowadays. Let's not go back 50 years. I mean, I guess, if you guys want to, hit us up, tweet us your thoughts, because what do you want, Bill? What do you want, Seminole Bill? Do you want Johnny Manziel, Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, or another example out there?
Well, you can go locally and talk about famous Jameis.
He's on my list. You're absolutely right. So, famous Jameis, to me, if he stays out of trouble from here on out, because people forget college. It's once you're a professional, right?
Right.
When you make it, and people handing you big bucks, they're paying you $50 million, you better be a pro.
That's it.
Okay. So I think that he is maybe your next Peyton Manning. At least he has the personality. Yeah. Okay. So he's already has the personality that Peyton Manning has. Fun, joking kind of guy. Talent-wise, he won a Heisman, right?
There you go.
What's he going to do in the NFL? Who knows? You know what I mean? So, but he has the opportunity because he does have the talent to be an extremely effective quarterback in the NFL. And then, obviously, he's driven. He won a Heisman. He won a national championship in college. So you have to be driven, right, to a goal. Yeah. And he's a two-sport athlete. Very good. I'm trying to find another pro that kind of fits that package right now. But well, Bill, but what do you want? Do you want a Peyton Manning or a Jameis Winston, or do you want a Andrew Luck or Tom Brady? It's kind of the same way.
Pick your champion. I mean, if the W comes with it and you got some extra stuff out there, then it's all good.
But if you got to make a decision. Do you want a Peyton Manning or do you want a Andrew Luck?
Personally, I'd rather have the Peyton Manning.
The Peyton Manning. You know what? I think I like the big personality too, because you know what? You know what it does to me, folks. When you have, now, I don't want the personality of off-field trouble. That's why Manziel's the wild card right now, even though, I mean, he's 20 years old or whatever, 21, so big deal. Who isn't out blowing money and doing crazy things with the ladies out there? But I'm talking about, I want the complete package. I want the Jameis Winston package, the Peyton Manning package, where I want a fantastic personality to go along with the talent. But here's my reason for the personality. If he's on my team and we're winning, gosh, does that rub the opposing teams and the opposing fans so wrong, right?
Absolutely. Can't stand it.
Right under your skin, because the team that is losing against my team and my quarterback that has the big personality, how irritating is that? That's so irritating, because not only did you just beat us, now this guy's face is everywhere. He's having a great time doing it, and he has the personality to go along with it. Yeah. I like the full package as well. And folks, if you start thinking about it, modern day sports right now, man, there just isn't a ton of them. The reason I threw Tom Brady in there is the X factor that he has is Giselle, because you know what? People, I'm telling you, I've spoken to Patriot fans. They take pride that their quarterback's wife is a supermodel. It's almost like it's her. I mean, serious, because it's like, well, he's the quarterback, supreme talent. Yeah, he's not Mr. Humor or anything like that, but boy, he has Giselle to come along with him. You think of other sports, and I'm going down the list, and there's just not a whole bunch of really big personalities in the positive way that we're talking about. Funny, There's lots of athletes that have the endorsements. That doesn't mean they're funny. I mean, LeBron James seems to be a good guy, I haven't heard any terrible stories about him. People can rip him over sports stuff, but I'm talking about off-field issues. He's in a lot of commercials and everything, but I just don't think he has, he has somewhat of a big personality, but I don't know. He just doesn't come across. I know they do funny things in interviews, right? Yeah. They photobomb interviews constantly, the Heat that Dwayne Wade does and LeBron James and everything like that. I just don't think he's in the area of Peyton Manning making, jokes, even with Manning during the Super Bowl with Omaha, right? Oh, yeah. He brings it up in the press conference and he makes fun of it, and it's great. I mean, that's what you want to see is a sense of humor, but we'll go back a little bit in time to Tim Tebow at Florida. And he was just a different animal, because
he wasn't like a funny guy. I don't know. He's in his own little area. He's just such a polarizing figure, yet everybody knew about him. So I don't know how you kind of wrap him. I was thinking of other sports, right?
Yeah.
Similar, Bill. Derek Jeter in Major League Baseball, plays for the New York Yankees, supremely talented, never got in trouble, but he has no personality.
You would call Derek the classy shortstop.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It's like he's right there with Peyton Manning, and then next thing you know, Jeter drops below Manning because now Manning is making funny commercials and saying funny things in press conferences sometimes, right. But he just has the perfect mix. I had written down the guys that, what about, even though he doesn't really speak English, but it's like he has the potential, is Yasiel Puig, who plays for the LA Dodgers.
Yeah.
And he has a big personality, and he doesn't even speak English.
Huge.
which is great, folks, because, he's the guy that hits a base hit and he flips the bat, which makes everybody in an uproar, all the purists of Major League Baseball. And it kills me, But he has, like, the potential to be there. He has the talent. How focused is he? I don't know. I don't speak Spanish fluent, like that. So, but really, folks, if you go down the list, man, there's just not a lot of guys out there. Or maybe you can enlighten us. Hit us up on Twitter at Marc Loyd Show and give us your thoughts on maybe some guys that you go, oh, well, Mark, you're forgetting it, that has a big personality and the talent to go along with it. I was thinking, if we go back a little bit in time, Brett Favre kind of had he's somewhat of a person. He was kind of a gunslinger, and a lot of people liked him. He made commercials and everything. I don't know if he was over the top, making funny stuff or anything like that, but it's few and far between.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's there until they maybe mess up in some other area, and then it's gone.
You're absolutely right, and because you got plenty of guys that have big. Terrell Owens, huge ego, huge personality, but he was a screw up,
and then he winds up on a reality show.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody liked him. You know what? Now that we're wound up on a reality show, and he's still broke. But who I'm thinking of, and what about primetime? Let's bring it back here to Knoll Nation. Dion.
The creator.
Yes, yeah, exactly. The creator. Supreme talent. Didn't do anything horrible off the field, that off the top of my head where, that I could recall, but just a big personality. And you're right, the creator when it comes to all that.
Yeah, he started it.
Yeah, he really did, and everybody else kind of followed along with that. But I was really curious about that. I really was about who do you want your star to be? Do you want it to be the complete package, or do you just not care about the personality aspect of it? That all that matters to you is that I want to, as Al Davis used to say for the Raiders, just win, baby. That's all that matters. Just win. I don't want you to have a personality, because that means maybe you could get into trouble one day, or maybe, and Bill, I can see them viewing it as, well, if has this personality, he's doing commercials and everything like that, and he's distracted. And if he's distracted, that means that he's not focused on what he should be. And that's what they're saying about Manziel right now.
There you go.
Right? Shouldn't he be studying the playbook more? What's he doing in Las Vegas? He's 21 years old. He has millions of dollars. I mean, come on.
It's a tough living.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, as everybody out there knows, we started it. I love fitness. We're going to give you a few fitness tips, but then we're going to get into the NFL and talk about some of the exciting rookies that are coming up in this year's draft. And I'm not in this year's draft, this upcoming season. I'm curious to hear your thoughts on who do you think might be, and be thinking of this, folks, who's going to be some of the most exciting rookies this upcoming NFL season. Hit us up at Marc Loyd Show, or you can also visit us at themarcloydshow.com, at Marc Loyd Show. Right here on Freedom 93 FM, home of the Gators and the Jags. Stay with us, folks.
You're the person your company, family, and friends turn to when something needs to get planned. A meeting, an out-of-town conference, sporting event, reunion, church function, or a sorority or fraternity event. what a headache. Well, there's a little secret that's going to make your life a lot easier and make you look like a hero. Bassett Events is a professional events conference and meeting planning service right here in Tallahassee, and they provide site selection and contract negotiation services to you at no cost. Yep, no cost, as long as your event requires at least 10 hotel rooms for one or more nights. You see, Bassett Events gets paid by the hotel, resort, or vendor, and they'll negotiate the best possible rates for you. Bassett Events saves you time, money, and aggravation, but still keeps you in control of the decision-making process. It's one-stop shopping, and you'll be a hero because it'll be our little secret. Bassett Events, exceeding expectations one event at a time. Call 877-7-EVENT-1, 877-7-EVENT-1, online at BassettEvents.com.
Welcome back to the Marc Loyd Show here on Freedom 93 FM, home of the Gators and the Jags. Hit us up on Twitter at Marc Loyd Show. Also visit us, MarcLoydShow.com. I'm trying to think of how do you actually say that without saying the word the, but it's just MarcLoydShow.com. www, I guess that's what I should say, .MarcLoydShow.com. A little motley crew there to get everybody fired up on this Saturday afternoon. Now, I love fitness, not some bodybuilder guy, but I just love to stay in shape and stay healthy and everything. And you know what? I feel that there's a part of me, I need to at least relay a few tips out there each and every week that might help you improve your health. And I want to be a part of that. So I'm going to give you 3 tips this week. I pulled out of Men's Fitness. Men's Fitness, 3 tips real fast. We'll do them each week. But first tip is, if you are working out, to not get bored, and that you well, no duh, Mark. No, what I'm saying is vary your fitness routine. If you're one of those guys that like to lift weights all the time, try to do something a little bit different. Like I took up, being a triathlete along with lifting weights. So I swim, and then you would run, and then I would bike, and then I could lift weights. So I always kept a variety. And that way I was able to work out, 6 or 7 days a week because I was never bored. So that's one thing. Next is, and this is important. It sounds kind of a little strange, find a fitness buddy. But what I'm saying is that it's always great not to have somebody that you're going to work out with all the time, but on certain things that we've all been guilted into it, right? We've all been, I don't want to train today. However, your friend is going to be there and he's waiting for you. Or she's going to be there and she's waiting for you. So you make sure that you show up. So it's that guilt. So find somebody that likes to train, some of the similar things that you do. Maybe it's the bike ride, maybe it's running, maybe it's swimming, maybe it's walking, whatever the case is. And train with them, 2 or 3 times a week. I always thought that was fantastic. And the third tip, I'll leave it, we'll only do 3 today, is this is really important. It's calories in, calories out, everybody. We all know it. So what does that mean? You got to read the nutrition labels. I'm not talking about all the things in and I and E that we have no idea. It's got to keep it simple. You got to start somewhere, right? So calories in, calories out. How many calories are you taking in? Take away 500 from your daily allowance and you're going to start losing some lbs. So there's your 3 fitness tips this week. You could thank me later, or you could thank me right now by tweeting me at Marc Loyd Show. Just put thanks, Mark. I appreciate it for you making me healthier. Right, Eric?
Right.
Okay, good deal. That was a confirmation from Eric, and he gave me the right in the DJ voice. Very cool. Okay, guys, before we went to break, I wanted to get into the NFL a little bit in our final segment here as we count down the days until college football starts and, of course, the NFL starts. We are the home of the Florida Gators and also the home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And one of them kind of come into play here in this next topic, the Jags, I guess you could say. Who does everybody out there, I'm sure you have your 1 or 2 guys that you think is going to be an exciting rookie. I'm not talking about going to catch them, but just an exciting player is going to have, as a rookie, an impact on his team in the NFL. And there's a lot of experts out there now because of the fantasy football. So you might already have yours drawn up. Hit us at Twitter. Tweet me at Marc Loyd Show. I want to know who you think is going to be some of the most exciting rookies this upcoming NFL season. And I just mentioned the Jaguars, right? Now, they drafted Blake Bortles, 3rd overall, out of UCF. And, He's not going to start from all indication. Bortles is not. However, though, he has the potential to be an exciting player. And I think when the Jags, maybe they're 2-6 or something, and Chad Henning's not getting it done, that Blake Bortles, the pressure, he's going to come in. He's going to play some football this upcoming season. I think he can have a good impact. I think he can be exciting. He is. He's a big, strong kid, can move around. If anybody watched any football, any college football this past year with UCF, you can tell he loves to run around in that pocket, and he can make some fantastic throws. So I got Blake Bortles up there. And you know what? Guys, I'm going to stay with the Jags. I think if anybody can remember 2 years ago in college football, hands down, the best wide receiver in the country is Marquise Lee out of the University of Southern California. Hurt his knee, wasn't really the same, different quarterback. The quarterback situation at USC was a disaster, and Marquise Lee dropped in the NFL draft. But boy, exciting player. And I'm telling you, if they could get him the football in Jacksonville, he has a great attitude. I think Marquise Lee can be one of those exciting and impactful rookies this upcoming season. And he obviously plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's one that's kind of off the beaten path. They're loaded at running back. And this is for the Ohio State fans. Big Ten country right now. I think Carlos Hyde can have somewhat of an impact. Remember the big running back out of Ohio State, chose to go pro early. I know they have Marcus Lattimore out there in San Francisco. Also Frank Gore, former Miami Hurricane veteran. But I think Hyde can have an impact. And he can be a little exciting this year. I think maybe he's that guy that's going to run over some people. And they'll take a strong interest in what he's doing out there. I think the no-brainer, folks, the no-brainer is if he gets on the field is Johnny Manziel, right? I mean, that's kind of the easy one to pick out is Manziel. If he gets out there, he's going to run around. He's going to create excitement on and off the field. So that's kind of a no-brainer when it comes to that. How about this one and Bill, Eric, you guys chime in on this one. For the Noel fans, we're talking about, who's the exciting rookies to watch out for this coming NFL season that's going to have an impact. And let's bring it home here to Tallahassee, okay? I think that Terrence Brooks, I say he's going to be a starting safety for the Ravens. And I know he can play defensive back too, but I think Brooks is going to have an impact this upcoming year. And I think he can be an exciting player for the Ravens. Agree or disagree?
I believe so. He's got the mentality, he's got the work ethic, and he's got the size to do it.
Now, here's another one I want to throw out there. I don't think he's going – I'm just curious about what your thoughts are. And everybody out there, hit us tweet us at Marc Loyd Show. Who's your exciting rookies that will have an impact this upcoming season? What about – I know he didn't get drafted, but let's be honest. Everybody always thought James Wilder Jr. was going to be a better pro than he was a college football player. It's just like he was meant to be in the NFL. And I think that's one of the reasons he jumped, and went ahead.
He's still running over Clemson players.
Yeah, he's still running over Clemson players. Very good. I think he could be one of those undrafted dark horse players, keeps his head on straight, which we know he has the last couple seasons, that he could do something exciting in the NFL. Exciting. Let's not use the word exciting. I think he could have an impact on the team, maybe in short yardage situations or something like that. Maybe he's that guy that picks up 4 or 5 touchdowns, 6, 7 touchdowns on the year by plowing in at 2 yards out or getting those critical first downs.
Yeah, he, just like he did here at FSU, they interchange the guys so much. So for him, it won't be anything new to go in today's NFL where you have, multi-running back sets and multi-running back formations and multi-running backs, period, playing different roles for each team. Yeah,
no, I agree with you on that. Now, here's another guy, and Florida State fans, you guys know him, and college football fans, you know him. He's just a beast. And now he's catching the ball from a former Florida State quarterback up in the Northeast. And, I mean, how can you not be excited about Sammy Watkins? He can't help but have an impact as long as E.J. Manuel can throw him the football. So I'm going to put Sammy up there as one of my top guys that's going to have an impact and one of the most exciting rookies this season and really in the past few years. If you get on the football, he's just a big, fast, I'll run you over type player. And then especially with Robert Woods, former great wide receiver out of USC on the other side. EJ has some weapons up there in Buffalo.
No excuses now. He can really, if he gets the ball anywhere around those guys, they're going to snag it.
Yeah, I mean, and Watkins he's just a difference maker when it comes to that. Now, I'm going to switch. I know we did Terrence Brooks on the defensive side of the ball, but let's stay on the defense now. Let's jump back to the defense. I think, and a lot of you know what? A lot of people around here will know the name Aaron Donald. Right? For Pitt. Remember the first game with Winston starts against Pitt, and everybody and all Florida State fans were saying, my God, our offensive line sucks. We can't protect this one guy. Well, guess what? That one guy was pretty darn good that nobody really knew about too much.
Exceptional.
Yeah, exceptional. As Seminole Bill said, just an exceptional was Aaron Donald. He gets drafted by the Rams, who has already a great defense. So he's going to have to fight for playing time, but I'm pretty sure that he's going to get a lot of playing time. But I think that he's a very exciting player in the non-exciting position, if you know what I mean. I mean, right. A defensive tackle, he's not an end, so he's not going to get 17 sacks. But, boy, he is just a beast. So, folks, I think that's somebody for everybody out there to look out for as well, is Aaron Donald. Now, we'll stay on the defensive side of the ball. Here's another guy. If his head's in the game, he obviously has all the tools. And that's the number one pick in the draft, Jadeveon Clowney for the Houston Texans. I know he had groin or hernia surgery or something like that, but he'll be ready to go for the training camp and for the first game. Is he, in your opinion, Seminole, is he going to have that impact that everybody thinks? Is he going to be as exciting as a lot of people are predicting? I think he will be. I really do. I really think now that he almost quickly outgrew college because of the expectations and what everybody was saying. Hey, don't even play this year. Just sit out. Don't take a chance of getting injured. I think now that he has his money, he has the tools. I do. I think he's going to have a fantastic NFL rookie year and be exciting.
He can cut it loose now. It's all elementary. He's in his element. He's where he wanted to be, and he's got his old coach Spurrier's motivation, ringing in his ears right now.
You're absolutely right. And you know what? That's it. You said something key there. And we're talking about some of this upcoming NFL season, who's going to be the most exciting rookies that will have an impact on their team. But what you said just then, Bill, he can cut it loose. And the reason that's important is because his last year at South Carolina, yes, he could cut it loose, but maybe I don't want to for the fear. And it is what it is. The fear of getting injured. He's got his money now. You know what I mean? At least as long as he doesn't blow it, he's a millionaire the rest of his life. Right. Just as long as he doesn't blow it. Now I know everybody says, well, the real money's after the first contract expires and you renew and you re-sign, and if you're as great as you are, you're going to make $100 million. Okay, that's all fine and dandy. But at least he has his money now.
He's got it.
And now it's time to see if he can cut it loose at 6'6", 275 pounds, and he could fly, run like a deer, and he's strong. Not abnormally strong like Ignana Sue, but he's strong at least.
The vision of the helmet getting strucken off,
of the Michigan player.
I mean, that's what you hope to see if you're
if you're a Houston Texan fan,
exactly.
or in a way, if you're just an NFL fan. I mean, you kind of want to see him do good. Here's somebody else, and I'm sure a lot of people are enjoying this because you got a lot of draft people out there. And once again, you can thank me at Marc Loyd Show for hooking you up with some of these players that maybe you're thinking about taking your fantasy draft. I'm telling you, I said last year, my friend called me. He's like, hey, I'm doing this draft, and we're way down, in the later rounds or however it goes. I've never played fantasy football. My brothers do, and all my friends do. I never have. But I said, take Kenny Stills. I said, take Kenny Stills, the rookie out of Oklahoma that now plays for the Saints, and I said that, he could do something. So trust me, folks. Look out for Brandon Cooks. He's going to play for the New Orleans Saints. He plays for the New Orleans Saints. So you get a Drew Brees, right? You have a Drew Brees throwing you the football. You got Kenny Stills. You got Jimmy Graham. I'm telling you, Brandon Cush could be that sleeper. Hit us up at Marc Loyd Show. Tell us some of your exciting rookies, or just talk to us in general. Also, you can visit us at www.marcloydshow.com. I want to thank everybody once again. Thanks Seminole Bill and also Eric producing the show. We will come at you next Saturday, 2 o'clock as always. We're the home of the Gators and the Jags, and we're the home of the Marc Loyd Show each and every Saturday at 2 o'clock right here on Freedom 93 FM. Thanks, folks. Talk to you next week.